loud and clear. Might hear me on the radio. Breaker 19. Anybody got their ears on?
Hey guys, it's Eric, owner of Farpoint Farms here in the mountains, North Carolina, and tonight I'm cold, but I've got something cool to share with y'all. This is the Cobra 148GTL. In the Cobra lineup, this reigns supreme in the mobile market. Uniden has the Grant XL, and of course now has the 980. President has the McKinley, and Cobra, well, they don't sell this anymore, but for many years, the Cobra 148 was the radio that people thought of when they thought of a premium radio for a mobile install, and for good reason. It is a solid performer, it is easily modified, and it lasts a long time. Proof of that is this. Take a look at this up close. Here's the front, and a wise person might notice the yellow knob is not some groovy aftermarket thing. It's actually an electrical connector that has been cut down because apparently the original knob disappeared. Here's the side of it, and you know, kind of a little bit of the top there. And here's the back of it, and you'll see this thing is actually dated 1990. February of 1990, this thing was made. Now, I don't have the original mic for it, so I have my Uniden mic off of my Grant hooked up to it as a 5-pin mic. But yeah, man, it still works. Now, this was one of the radios. I picked this up the same time I got the JCPenney one that I did a few weeks back or a few months back. This is the this was also, I think I paid $35 for it because, you know, it had a little bit of imperfections to it, but it does work. In fact, I have been able to make contacts with it. I was using it inside with the new antenna setup for a little while just to play with it some, and I'm going to pass this one along probably. But you know, in all the radios that I've owned, and I've owned probably well over 100 now, this is the first and only Cobra 148 I've ever owned. You know, again, like I did a base station review, that was the first Cobra 142 I've ever owned. Two of the most famous radios, two of the best sideband performers out there, and I just had never had my hands on them until this year. Never came across ones at a reasonable price, so it's been fun playing with it. It is laid out a little bit weird. Normally we put our volume over here, but for reasons that, you know, only Cobra knows, they decided to put the mic gain, the Dynamic as they call it there. I'll put my glasses on real quick here for this. We do have our noise blanker and ANL analog, you know, our automatic noise limiter, and then we have our off here. CB and PA, it does have PA and speaker out on the back. High and low tone, again, no tone control on this one, but just a high-low. And then dim and bright, which is kind of cool for a mobile install. So Dynamic's over here. We have our volume in the middle and our squelch on the inside there. We have RF gain on the inside here. That's that yellow modified knob there. It's a little bit messed up, but it works. And then SWR cal. And of course this switch is that SWR calibration right here. And then here we have our AM, lower sideband, upper sideband, voice lock, rounds out the knobs here. Voice lock is of course clarifier. And then lastly our channel you know, changing dialers right here. So it's fairly well featured. I prefer to have my mic come out the front just because a lot of the installs that I seem to do these days are in-dash installs, but for its time, this was very common. The Uniden XL had, or wait, yeah, the Uniden Grant had it sticking out the side too, as I recall. And I did have a Cobra, actually I had two Cobra 146s were like the smaller version of this, and they were both side mount too, and you just make it work, but it's just something I always prefer to have front mounted mic mount. So anyway, let's check it out. I've got it plugged in. Skip was rolling here a little while ago. We'll see if it's still going, and we'll turn it on and see what happens. You can see the light for the meter works. Not even...
Check there, 1248 Michigan. You're making a nice trip out here to the Mile High City, 455 with the wave.
Wow. So that was Colorado right there. Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Check.
CQDX. This is Farpoint Farm 707 in the mountains of North Carolina, trying for a break.
Your weekend, Pilot Radio 455 to Mile High City.
Wow. CQDX, Farpoint Farms in the mountains of North Carolina, trying for it.
Bender 2811-2811. Check there, 777 Needlebender. You're making it up here to Prescott, Arizona. Pilot Radio waving. Yeah, copy that. 232, we got you in there. Got a whole bunch of them in there right behind you, but 232, we got you. We'll see if we can get you when you come back. Check, 777, right back to you.
Pretty nice.
Like a local out here in the Mile High City. Take care and enjoy your weekend and your holidays. Come up 455 or back monitor the frequency.
All right, let's switch over to AM and see how things are going over there. We'll try out the Super Bowl since things are pretty clear. It's working. Super Bowl is always a vast wasteland of very interesting characters. There's no doubt about that. Let's move on up to our local channel here, and I'll see if I can make a contact somewhere. The meter's working. I'm sorry, the channel indicator's working, although it's a bit flaky. And the meter lights up, but the needle is stuck. Certainly this could be fixed, but for a radio from 1990, it actually sounds really nice still. And the fact that it works at all is pretty impressive. They certainly built stuff really well back in the day, didn't they? How about you? Break channel for a radio check. Now the meter seemed to start working there. I guess tapping on it helped it out. CQDX. Yeah, nothing. So I'm done doing videos about radios because I want to actually get back to playing on the radio. But I did want to share this with you. If you are new to the hobby and want to move directly into a sideband radio, certainly the Cobra 148 is probably right at the top of the list of radios that I would consider. Again, it's very easily modifiable. A lot of guys and gals were doing channel mods to it, so you could go 40 over and 40 under. That was pretty common. You could add echo to these things. You could add talk back to these things. There were just a lot of things you could do with them that made them fun to play with. I'm not much for getting in the inside of these things and messing with them. Kind of a purist, although I do occasionally use out of band, channels above the 40 if the skip is just too much. But yeah, man, the Cobra 148. I've never had one in my possession. Probably gonna play with it here for another month or two over the winter, and come spring I'll probably sell it and move on to something else to play with, right? So anyway, that's it for tonight. I'm Eric, the owner of Farpoint Farms. Hope you enjoyed the video. I don't ask very often, but if you did, perhaps you will think about liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Take care.
There's always something that needs a little fixing.